question is that the motion be agreed to. I call the member for Tadmor.
As I was saying, the problem is that the member's motion is basically a work of fantasy, and when you look at the notice paper with her motion and the details of the motion, she made a whole list of erroneous things which, funnily enough, haven't played a part of her speech at all, and I'm not quite sure why. But never let the truth get in the way of the good story. I mean, it's ironic that this is the 200th anniversary of the Battle of Waterloo. And Napoleon famously said, in politics, never retreat, never retract, never admit a mistake. The member in her notice paper will be relieved to hear that there've been no funding cuts to science in the 2015 budget. No, there haven't. The notice paper mentions the 2015 budget. The simple fact is she may have been referring, for instance, to efficiency savings made by the CSIRO on their own volition. And she's a member of a party that was once part of a party that made a number of structural adjustments, and it started under previous Labor governments. Think about it. The evidence of Labor's government in over 6 years was bookended by budget slashes to the CSIRO funding. Under the Labor Party in 2008, $63.4 million was cut from CSIRO. In the 2013 budget, there was a so-called efficiency dividend on CSIRO in the 2013 budget, which once again led to budget cuts. The CSIRO told the ABC Fact Check program its decision to put a freeze on hiring and contract renewals after the with regard to the 2014 budget was entirely made by the CSIRO. The member appears to be out of line with her own party when it comes to defence spending, for example. She has lauded the United States as using its Department of Defence to put money into research. Good concept, and I happen to agree with the member. The only problem is the Labor government cut defence spending to the lowest level in a percentage of GDP measure since 1937. Member for Perth also seems to conflate the issue of science funding with the funding for the Lomborg Centre, which she actually admitted in her speech was to do with the economics and cost-benefit analyses. Quite frankly, the closure of that centre, or the reason for the UWA not going ahead with it, was because of certain academics raising a stink. And quite frankly, I have nothing but contempt for the view expressed by those to shut it down. The so-called academics would have been well placed, in fact, to have been involved in an inquisition in the past. It's an absolute disgrace. The interesting thing is, those who complained about it were social scientists and those in the arts, not hard sciences, not mathematics. Would they have been so concerned if it had been an Al Gore centre? No doubt they would have welcomed that charlatan with open arms. UWA Vice-Chancellor Paul Johnston's statement announcing his university's abandonment of the program, he referred to the duty of tertiary institutions to actively encouraging exploration of new ideas, challenging established thinking and posing the difficult what-if questions. He cited UWA's commitment to the open exchange of ideas and thought and fostering the values of openness, honesty, tolerance, fairness, trust and responsibility. Want to see what the Dark Ages were like? Have a look at the group who would fight the Enlightenment. Any view contrary to their belief, and I stress belief, is to be stopped at all costs. My partner, Trudy, was a classic example of that. She did a PhD at UWA, and boy, you should have seen the academics' reaction to her PhD thesis, because terrible, it was done from the realist perspective. This is so far from the Talentire Précis of Voltaire's philosophy, where basically Voltaire's attitude was, I may hate what you have to say, but I will fight to the death for your right to say it. Universities are heading back to a time when only the prescribed correct version would be countenanced. any others were to be defined as heretics. I fear that these academics lack courage to seek
member's
office
time
rather
has
than just
expired.
shout from safety of their tenured positions.
Thank the member for Tangi. The question